Should I like slide in when you introduce me?
Yeah, sure. So we're live. feel free to slide in when we need you. But anyway,
Bob, come
Now?
on
Should I do it
down.
now?
that's it.
Okay,
We
hang on. Do it again. Do it again.
we are
Oh,
here on a brand new episode of Towelite Talk. This is episode number. What are we on, Chris? 189.
189.
Okay, perfect. So I am sharing out the link right now. Yeah,
Come join us.
we have a guest here from the host of Gutsy Media Podcast, none other than Robert Gutzmer himself.
You like that? You like the entrance?
I do like that, and you know what's really funny about that?
Thank you, everybody. I
Wow,
appreciate it.
everyone
Thank you.
who's watching, we really, really appreciate you clapping.
We're also in front of a
Bob,
recorded audience.
in front of the
Live
recorded
audience.
All right, so a little bit different of an episode tonight, but we're doing it live and we're really excited about it. So, if you are first now tuning in on Facebook, or I guess that's it for right now. If you have any questions, comments, queries, bring them in. If you want to talk about Bob and Chris's beards and how I can't grow one, that's fine too. Anything you guys want to talk about. But we'll be going through the news, the pop culture geekiness that has been happening out there in the galaxy. And I'm just going to get right to it because there's a lot more of it than you would have thought. So starting off at the top, we have Marvel TV movie news here. First things first, Deadpool 3. It's got a rated R rating, and that doesn't surprise me. I'm going to take this. Chris, what do you think?
It was as promised, right? Bob,
Yeah.
like I said, if we're going to bring Deadpool in, it's going to be rated R, and we'll treat the fans as they should be treated, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super stoked about this. There was obviously a big worry that Disney was going to kind of, family friendly Deadpool, and you can't family friendly Deadpool. You can't do it right that way. So I think they're coming around. I think they know where their fan base is, and I'm really excited to see the R rating.
Do you think
Also, our
any-
first confirmed mutants in MCU.
Oh, really?
It's true. That's true.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah, good. More Deadpool is always good. Deadpool. Over on TV, Disney Plus, we have Moon Knight, and some casting news there. The big one being that the villain has been confirmed as Ethan Hawke. So he will be. I don't know, who is he? He's gonna be.
Have they said who he is yet? I think it's just that he's going to be the villain.
He's supposed to be. Okay, so it's possible he's a villain named Bushman, but they have not confirmed that is who he is. So I'm a fan of Ethan Hawke, so I'm excited about that. And then we also got May Kalamaway. She is getting cast in an unknown role as well. Here's the thing. I'm just excited that we're getting Moon Knight on the screen, and I would imagine it's going to be a very hard PG-13. What do you guys think?
My question about it is this: when are they going to roll out these announcements? Because they haven't confirmed Oscar Isaac. If they're not going to say who these people are, they're obviously planning on revealing it somewhere this year. Probably, maybe their own. What is it? D23 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but that's not
But
usually until like August, right?
right, but when's Moon Knight going to happen? Obviously, I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
that's true.
packed full of Marvel shows, right, this year.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I like Ethan Hawke. I think he's a good actor. We actually we're getting ready to drop an episode in late February for Predestination, and I mean he was great in that, and I think he'll be good in this.
Perfect. Before we get into more news, speaking of Predestination, Bob, today's a big day for you. Tell us what's happening over at Gutsy Media Podcast. First of all, for people who are not familiar, what is Gutsy Media Podcast? And then tell us your big news, man.
That's a great question, Casey. Thanks for asking me that. So Gutsy Media Podcast is a podcast where I hang out with my friends and talk about movies. Essentially, it's what I do every day anyway. I just decided to record it and let other people listen to it.
That sounds
We
really
are pretty.
familiar.
Yeah, you guys were actually on the show, my last episode of season 1. So we just launched season 2. Pretty excited. We got, we wanted to give back to the fans. Really enjoyed the downloads. We like that you guys are into the show. So we're launching today our winter giveaway. All you have to do to enter is to like, comment, and share 3 of our social media posts. And that can be any social media post, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and you're automatically entered to win. Obviously, void were prohibited. It must be 18 years or older. But you're going to get a chance to win some really cool pop culture stuff. And you may be asking yourself, well, what could I win? Let me answer that question for you. Anybody like Walking Dead? How about Princess from Walking Dead? We'll throw her in the box. Or
Wait,
anybody a fan
should
of?
You be telling us this?
Oh, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. How about you like Funko Pop? How about Tommy from the Power Rangers?
Oh my
You can
gosh.
get him. Casey, you're a huge fan of socks. How about some Saved by the Bell socks?
You know what?
Why not?
I am wearing socks right now.
Be careful with those. He might try to take those.
Actually,
Breakfast
I
Club?
actually do want those socks.
Boom. Sincerely yours from the Breakfast Club. A little morning OJ in your cup. Listen, we got tons of stuff to give away. I can't guarantee what you're going to get in the box, but here is some stuff that's going to be on the giveaway list. So you might get some version of this, and maybe I'll sprinkle some more stuff throughout the episode. So stay tuned.
Okay, that's exciting stuff. So you guys check out Gutsy Media Podcast wherever you download podcast, and soon to be a YouTube and Facebook live show. Okay, all right.
That has not been confirmed.
That is in confirmation. We've got a shout out for Joaquin. Shout out from the Insensitive Culture crew. That's a Facebook group which is hilarious. They are very funny, and thank you guys for checking it out. Really appreciate that. Absolutely. So we got their little there it is. So we got you guys in there. Sweet. We got another comment here from Chelsea. Did Jen sanction this? Does your wife know where you are right now?
She does not. I burrowed out a little hole in the basement, and I'm hiding in there and doing my streams from there.
It's a very well decorated hole.
Thank you.
I know.
Really cleaned up the place.
There you go. All right, last thing in the Marvel news. WandaVision launched last week, the first 2 episodes. We got another episode coming tomorrow. Just kind of like your quick thoughts on what you thought of the show so far. Bob, what did you think?
So, I mean, I like pretty much anything Marvel puts out. I think, oftentimes Thor 2 gets the short end of the stick, or Ultron. Love those movies. WandaVision, I like it. I'll continue to watch it just like I do everything else that Disney spoon feeds me. With that being said, we're 2 episodes in. I need a little bit more. I'm still have no idea what's going on. No spoilers. But I need a little bit more. They're dangling something in front of me, but it's so far away. I don't know what it is yet.
Okay. Chris?
Yes, it is a good slow burn. I can see why they released both of those episodes together.
Yeah.
So it is a very weird show. I like how they started it with the the Lucy throwbacks. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next, as they kind of just introduced more and more stuff, more weird stuff. And like you said, no more spoilers, but for their first outing, it's a really brave venture, and I love these kind of shows. So I'm looking forward to more.
I think that's what I'm most excited about is what does the future hold for this, especially since it leads into Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness or whatever it is. So I think that I would be okay if the show stayed in this kind of format and didn't even have some weird things happen. If it was just a funny sitcom, I think I'd actually be okay with it. But at the same time, knowing that isn't how it's going to be, it's like, okay, well, let's kind of move on. Let's get a little bit more. But, we're going to get episode 3 tomorrow. So hopefully we see.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
So do you think, obviously, WandaVision's created, it's going to lead into the, like you said, the multiverse of madness for Doctor Strange. With a lot of these see the shows that they're releasing, I feel like they have a good foundation as to what they want to do for at least the first season. Do you think Kevin Feige's look beyond that? I mean, do you think he has a season 2, season 3, season 4 plan, or is it going to be kind of just roll with it as it goes on?
I think this is it because of. Let me say this. I think this is it for now because she's going into that movie, into Doctor Strange 2, and I don't think Vision's coming back. I think this is a construct of her mind. So I think it's done. I don't think Scarlet Witch is done. I don't think Vision is done, but I think this as a concept is done. I don't think they're going to do this again. Chris?
Yeah, no, I agree. And just briefly, it's the thing about it too is I always bring in the Young Avengers stuff because I really think they're working towards that, and this is a critical part of it. So I do think that it's in somewhat a reality. So we'll see what happens, right?
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
But I agree.
We got a Joaquin says it's going to get wild and we're in for a ride. I agree. Yep. I think we're just tipping the iceberg. Rocco asks, any possibility that WandaVision introduces mutants to the MCU?
I think it's a strong possibility.
I think it's a strong possibility.
I mean, if not in the show, then probably in the multiverse of madness, with Doctor Strange. I mean, I think they might hold on to that for the movie, but this is definitely going to be a setup to that, I think.
So let me ask a question. Because we know that her and Quicksilver are mutants in the comics, and the way that they created them in this was during their Inhuman days. So how does that get treated? Do they leave them as Inhuman? Do they leave her as an Inhuman? And they don't try to retcon it? What do you, any kind of, I guess, thoughts on that?
I don't think her being Inhuman is canon enough to anybody's going to notice just calling her a mutant and going from there. I don't think it's worth changing anything or relabeling anything. I think they're just going to go with mutants and it is what it is.
I think they'll, yeah. So to answer basically a retcon, I think they'll do that. I think they'll just kind of because they were what, the miracles, the children or whatever in Ultron. I can't remember what exactly the word is, but I think it will be Strucker stole them from Magneto or whatever the case may be.
That was going to be my next question. Is that's the other thing is now they have Magneto. Do they go back and play on him being the father and introduce that?
Yeah, I think they will. And actually, I bet you anything we see Quicksilver in this show.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's what I want to mention is that because of her her reality altering powers, she could do basically. She's one of the most powerful persons in Marvel. So she could alter the whole MCU. And I believe that's probably how they're going to play things, and get crazy with it. If she can change things and make everybody the mutants were just there, the Fantastic Four was just there the whole time. Yeah, we'll see some. I think we'll see something crazy like that. So
yeah, Andrew says they are Tom Kinging it for sure, which is a great series. If you haven't read Visions, I think is what it is. Joaquin says, Rocco, that'd be a big reveal. And Rocco says, bridging the two Quicksilvers, the Fox and the Marvel Quicksilver.
I forgot he signed up for the show. That's right.
Yeah. That's, oh, man. I don't know. That would definitely.
They'll just mix the phases with that Luke technology.
I think that would definitely make people really go, wow, okay, now we're do it, and it's a small thing, you know what I mean? It's not seeing Wolverine. It's it would be small enough and cool enough that would be pretty sweet. Rocco says this is why I'm here. Yes, thank you, Rocco. Thank you. All right, so we got to move on over to DC news. We've got. They give us sound effects, and
this is a whole new level, man. Oh my gosh. So exciting.
Right. Sorry. They give us sound effects. We're going to the Snyder Cut, okay? First of all, it's a movie now. It's a 4-hour movie. That's a thing. Uh, and in addition to it being not for 1 hour sections, they are confirming that Harry Lennox will be playing Martian Manhunter. So I'll just comment on that. That's cool. Great. That guy's a great actor. We needed to see it, and cool. As far as the 4-hour movie, Watchmen's like 3.5, maybe even 4 if you add in the black. What is that called, Chris? Black. I keep wanting to say Black Mask, and it's not that. Anyway, whatever.
I'm drawing a blank. You're right.
Malin Moore, if any of you guys can tell me, let me know. I'm okay with a 4-hour movie. I think this is WB going, let's get this shit over with and move on.
Yeah, hasn't the budget like exponentially went up on this?
Oh yeah, it was like 30 million, and now it's like three times that. What do you think, Bob?
You know, it's content. I'm gonna eat it up like cookies with milk. Okay. I was actually a fan of the 4 1-hour segments because I think if you're gonna introduce more characters, if you're gonna do it right, I want a slow burn. I want the backstories. I want you to lead me into something, tell me a good story. Don't try to cram it into 2 hours. So I was okay with 4 separate 1-hour shows, so that you could do that. Making it a 4-hour movie. Listen, let's be honest. I'm probably gonna, watch 2 hours and then take a break, get some snacks, use the bathroom. So it doesn't matter to me. As far as Martian Manhunter being in it, thank you. I wish they would have put Green Lantern in it.
Yeah.
When they started the promos for this originally, it was Unite the Seven. Unite the Seven. I mean, give us the whole thing. But at the end of the day, it's content. I like it. I'm good with it.
Yeah, Chris.
I feel like maybe it had something to do with they're putting it in IMAX, right? They're doing a theatrical release, correct?
Are they?
That's what I heard, and I wondered if that had something to do with them just putting it back as a movie on HBO, so it's not going over a month's period time, or because HBO doesn't binge, so they would give you per week. But
Right.
if they're going to put it in theater, I don't like saying that because it's like, who cares? Like if I'm not going to theater, so I'm going to watch it on TV once a week. I would be okay with that. But I don't know. It's such a weird thing to go back on. But you might be right, Casey, where it's like, let's get this over with. We're never going to be doing this. Zack Snyder, go do your alien zombie movie. So
Ruben says Snyder's extended director's unabridged cut.
It's going to be 6.5 hours long.
That's it.
Can't wait.
All zombies.
I can't wait.
Well, that's the thing.
The Wonder Twins.
2 hours is all slow-mo. We know this. Just slow-mo shots. All right. Going over to Titans, we have Savannah Welch has been cast as Barbara Gordon. So Titans season 3 is pretty much turning into the full Batman show. What are your thoughts, guys, on Oracle, or maybe even Batgirl? Will we see her in a costume? I don't know. What do you guys think?
I've heard it's Oracle.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.
I've heard it's post Joker shooting her. So that's my understanding of it. Bob, if you want to talk a little bit about, have you watched Titans?
I haven't watched Titans. It's on my long list of things I need to consume. I do think Oracle is an underrated character. I don't think we see her enough in the shows or in the movies. I never really bought Alfred as being the guy in the Batcave, helping him out and looking stuff up on a computer. My dad's 67 years old. He can't understand how his mouse dies when it's not connected to the computer. So Alfred being 80 at this point, like, I think I like Oracle. We should see her more often, and I'm excited about her being in the show.
I have a couple of comments on that.
I know you.
I don't know if you're watching the right Alfreds to begin with.
Go watch Pennyworth on Stars.
I like Gotham's Alfred as well. That's one of my favorite Alfreds. Anytime Alfred's a badass or like his
Black
background
Ops
is
and
just,
military.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's his background. It's just like I love Alfred. And I wish Alfred would live forever. And we know he has not as of now until this new retcon, but we'll see what happens. But I'm not going to talk about Titans because you haven't watched it, Bob. I will say, however, I do not like them going to this Batman world when the idea of Dick Grayson leaving and going to the Teen Titans or Titans was the fact that he wanted to get away from that shadow. And now we have a very gritty show that should be a little bit more about team stuff. So I'll leave it at that.
You know, to that point, I give Marvel a lot of credit for starting off their universe with Iron Man and Captain America because I mean, realistically, before the movies, Iron Man wasn't a big guy in Marvel. If anything, he was B list, maybe even C list. That's one thing DC needs to learn. I think. I think they lean really hard on Batman and Superman because that's their bread and butter. They have so many other great characters. And if they would take the time to invest in them and really put them out in the forefront, I think they would see a larger fan base there. So to your point, I mean, I'm with you. I'm a huge Batman fan, obviously, but I get to consume that content in all sorts of other areas. Let it be a Titans show and let Batman or Grayson or whoever take a step back.
Yeah.
Amen.
Chelsea, thank you for this. She said Black Freighter. That's what the name was from Watchmen. Thank you, Chelsea. And Ruben has some words for you, Bob. Alfred Pennyworth is a damn god. So, I mean, you gotta get your Alfred game up.
I think you gotta look if you haven't read it. Look up the origins of the Robin King. It's pretty crazy.
Okay. Speaking of craziness, Batwoman season 2, Black Mask is joining. I couldn't even make it past the first episode, so I don't care. But I like that character.
I want to mention something. There was all this stuff about how the ratings were so bad, and you know the new actress can't hold a candle to Ruby Rose, but unfortunately that's just bad. Just bad writing on these websites because obviously the Ruby Rose show was not good, and there was issues. So I just think like, why are we not giving this new actress a chance to revive this show if they can? The first season was totally forgettable. I like the idea of this. I like the changing of the character.
Yeah.
But let's not start saying already like, oh, the show's bombing already because the ratings are down. Your ratings were bombing unless it was an Arrow crossover. So
Batwoman, Gotham, whatever, Batman-esque show you want to give me minus Batman, just give me a Batman show. Just give me a Batman show. Like, just put Batman in it. I mean, I get it. It's Batwoman, and that's fine. It's close. I'm good with that. But my bigger issue, and I know, man, I'm going to get so much flack for saying this. I don't want to see it on CW. I want to see a gritty. Give me Gotham by Gaslight. Give me the detective Batman solving crimes in a rainy Gotham street and make that a TV show. Make it SVU every week, and I am hooked. I am in.
I think there is actually something coming to HBO Max. It's going to be the prequel to the Batman, and it's going to be the Batman is actually year 2, and so they're going to do year 1 on HBO Max because I've been saying that for years that a Batman show deserves to be on it, like an HBO or whatever, where they can actually do gritty stuff and go into these weirder villains and so forth. So I am very excited for that. And I agree with you to a certain extent, the CW, but that universe is falling apart. They're starting to do these different kind of shows on there. I think bringing Stargirl there was a good move. Superman seems to be a different, move away from the Arrowverse, even though it's connected. But going back to the Batwoman thing, it's like, at least give it a chance. It is still Batman universe, like you were saying. Eat it up if it's good. If it's not, turn it off.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right, Ruben. GCPD. Thank you.
Exactly. Yeah. Looking forward to that show. Speaking of Arrowverse and crossovers, they are done with that. It's over. They're not doing it anymore. Fine.
It was this coming year was they canceled what they had already said was going to happen between, like they said, the smaller scale one with the Supergirl and Batwoman and that one, like World's Finest or whatever, but that's a no-go. And like I said, since they're doing all these separate shows, I don't think we'll be seeing crossovers in the future.
Nope. It's the end. It's the end, friends. And finally, I'm going to take this one with a grain of salt that a Batman the Animated Series sequel is in the works.
I heard this.
Sorry, Ruben. Yeah, sorry for the Arrowverse going down. And Dave also agrees. CW verse should be over, let's be honest. He's right.
If there's no Arrow, there's no Arrowverse.
There's no Arrowverse, yeah. But yeah.
Can I just say something about this? Only because I actually learned about this right before you got on the show, and there's a lot of people out there who think this is a real thing. And I could see them doing it as well, because there's such a draw now to reinvent these old cartoons, and we've seen it across the board. And they've been scraping their way with different Batman shows. Some have been better than others, and some have just, haven't been up my alley. So I feel like they want to go back and they want to kind of get these fans, because think about how they just put out that the comic. They're still doing that right now. The adventures continue and expanding that world. And we were seeing them when DC Direct, before that went under, they were making figures that were never part of the show, that like Deathstroke and Red Hood and stuff. So I wonder if there's more to it than just a grain of salt. Let's put it that way.
So I'm really concerned about this, and the reason for it is because while I love content, I love Batman. I'm nervous when anybody, whether it be comic books, DC, or even in movies or whatever, when they touch something that is already perfect and nostalgic, because you always run the risk of ruining it. And I always go back to the Predator movies. Predator 1's amazing. Predator 2. Okay, I like it. I think it's good. They haven't made a good Predator movie since then, but they keep trying to, and it just bleeds the franchise. So with something like this, I'm for it. I'd watch it, but man, they better do it good, because this is the Batman show.
One comment before you go, Casey.
Yeah.
You are correct, because remember that movie they made that was I forgot what it was. It was like Batman and Harley Quinn. And it was supposed to be an extension of that universe. And when I watched that, I was appalled. It was appalling. And I love those DC animated movies. And this was like the biggest heap of garbage I've ever watched. And I was like, this is an insult to the animated series. And I was about to bring up the fact, even before I thought about this, that both the makers are still there. Paul Dini's still working, and Tim, now I'm drawing blank, is still working. So it's just like, why was that even allowed? I don't know. Bruce Timm, thank you, Bruce Timm.
My comment is this: it won't ever affect the original series. It doesn't matter if they do 1,000 sequels and every single one of them sucks. Guess what doesn't suck? The original animated series.
Yeah, so but you know what? I disagree with you on that.
You know what? I had a really good time with this.
I disagree with you on that, and for this reason, the original series is the best, and I love it. And honestly, it's really what got me hooked on Batman in general, and allowed me to kind of expand out into the comic books and movies and so on. Honestly. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Conroy is the quintessential Batman voice. Hamill is the Joker voice.
Correct.
But with that being said, the newer generations that are going to watch this and get hooked on it, they're going to see the Batman animated series as a whole, all the content together. And that original is only going to be a segment of that. I want them to enjoy it as much as I do. And this is going to, like I said, it's going to bleed it a little bit. It's going to make it not as uniform and wholesome as a whole. I mean, that's my thought at least.
I don't know. We'll see. I guess we'll find out, right?
I will say the difference may be because so many are standalone episodes that formula may stay today if they can get good writers.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
What is this?
when you get too much like overarching things. What is that, Bob?
This is a replica of the Batman, the Return #1 Batmobile. Maybe this winds up in what you get for winning the giveaway this winter. I don't know. I mean, Tommy Funko Pop, maybe that's in there. I don't know. Batman replica, who knows?
So check out the Gutsy Media podcast. They are doing a giveaway right now. You could win one of these many delicious items. Francati says, Bruce Tim, thank you, my buddy. Moses says I need to be a bit louder. I don't know. My microphone turned off, apparently. Okay.
Yeah, you're good. You sound better now.
Sound good now. So, Chris, take us to a galaxy far, far away.
Pew, pew, pew. That's right. It's little Star Wars news this week. Coming off, especially with right. That's right.
Somebody
where are
take
these
the
people?
sound effect button away from him.
I'm sorry.
Who let them in our houses? So coming up in the Andor show, season 1. Unfortunately, we've heard from Alan Tudyk, not us, but the internets, that
No, he
K2SO.
He got a hold of us.
Oh, he called you. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I call him Allie.
He
Such
likes
a good
that.
friend. That's right. But unfortunately, he has not shot any scenes with our favorite droid ever, K2SO. And that, to me, says that, yes, maybe he's not in the show right now, but you know what they're working towards is how they became best buds, of course. And that's what, Tudyk said. He said, at least not yet. So we're going to start off with a very lonesome Cassian on that show.
Yeah, that's fine. I expect K2 to have a big presence in it, but maybe it doesn't come until season 2. We got to get to know Cassian first, and I'm sure they'll do like a lot of backstory stuff with him. So I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Yeah, you're a Rogue One fan, Bob?
I am a Rogue One fan. I'm excited about the shows. I think Rogue One is probably the best Star Wars movie we've had since the original 3, in my opinion. I think it did a really good job. And I think part of that was, again, going beyond the Skywalkers and really exploring the universe as a whole. There's so many different things, so many different aspects they could tap into. And I'm glad they picked something like that. And I did find it funny that the whole show is centered around closing that one big plot hole from the original movies, which was great. But yeah, I mean, I don't know who K2SO is.
He's the robot.
The little one with the beak head.
Wrong movie.
Oh
no, the big black droid.
Oh yeah. I liked him.
That guy's awesome, right?
I can't pull him out.
I love that guy.
My display case, but he's over here.
All right, so know him for now, but I mean, who knows? Maybe get some fans to support it and get it in season 2.
Yeah, Moses says that's better. My main issue with Solo is how they just shoved every major aspect we know of him into one adventure. So let him have his own adventures before we start seeing the aspects of him that connects to Rogue One. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, and Disney's not gonna, shy away from the opportunity to do the origin story of K2SO. So
That's true.
That's great. Next up, some exciting news for Star Wars video game fans. Growing up, we had LucasArts, and that dissolved. And so we've been, kind of at the whim of EA for many years, and that's been a roller coaster of a ride until more recently. But lucky for us, Lucasfilm Games is here. So that's exciting. And with that, we also have an announcement that Ubisoft, who, the Assassin's Creed and the Division, which they are saying this new Star Wars open world game will be based more on the mechanics of. So what do you guys think about this announcement and an open world Star Wars game? Gimme.
Gimme. I mean, how awesome. I want to train as a Jedi. You know what would be cool? Give me that like Fable aspect where I start training and then I can pick to do like dark side stuff or light side stuff, and I can kind of pick my own path as a character. That would be sweet. That would be totally sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm beyond excited. I don't know why they can't just call it LucasArts, but whatever. I don't know. Like, there's that nostalgia factor. Like, you still probably own the domain. Just bring back LucasArts. But that's a quibble. Yeah, more Star Wars video games and from more variety. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see an Arkham Knight style game from Insomniac, you know, like the Spider-Man game, but make it a bounty hunter. You know what I mean? Like they could go so many different directions. Star Wars is, again, the biggest franchise of all time. There's no reason to not see multiple Star Wars games from multiple publishers. So I'm pumped.
Let me ask you both a quick question. Where would you like to see an open world Star Wars game set? What time period?
Ooh, that's a good question.
There
I'm
should be
more for a
podcast related
linear.
to that question, Chris.
I'm more for a linear time period. I think you start with a time period around episode 1 and kind of let it build. But I think because Darth Vader is such a money grab for them, you got to kind of base it around those original the original 3 so that you can plug him in there.
I'd be fine with the original. What was it? 1313. Give me the underground. You know what I mean? Take me into the criminal underworld and explore that. Or, you know what? Go real crazy. Make it all in the Outer Rim and make it a straight up Western. Give me Red Dead Redemption, but I'm really though. Give me Red Dead Redemption, and you have the option of using a lightsaber and a gun. What up?
Exactly. So here's the thing.
About that.
Here's the HR. Here's the High Republic, a new time period where there's not much sand played in already. So, and that was the biggest fear of a lot of these developers that have, failed games over the last 8 years. Because what are the fans gonna say? What are they gonna do? Are they gonna send me death threats because I made a bad game or a mistake in one interaction? Yeah, of course they are, because they're, a bunch of jerks sometimes. But the point is that I think that they're going to make a game in the High Republic era, and I would eat that up.
Idea. Make the game revolve around some sort of central planet that's outside of time, and then the characters can go on missions to any point in time they want.
That actually sounds pretty fun. Oh, time travel. All right.
Exactly. But speaking of the High Republic, some of you out there are wondering what your favorite characters from the book you're reading look like. So unfortunately, the infographic they originally gave us was incomplete, and we still have some questions. But don't fear, StarWars.com is here to give you a little video intro for each character. And they dropped one the other day. And who was that for, guys?
Yeah, that was one of the Jedi Knights, Vernestra Rowe.
Vernestra Rowe.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
That's from Test of Courage, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
I'm not there yet. I'm still on Light of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's the thing,
been stuck on page 250 for a week now.
I have 3 minutes left of the audiobook, so I will listen to that promptly when we get off of this episode.
Who stops an audiobook with 3 minutes left?
My kid.
All right, you got me there.
She did not want me to finish that episode. Anyway.
Exactly. So also another announcement today from the upcoming host of the High Republic show that debuts next week. It's called Skywalker: A Family at War. It's a new Star Wars biography. So it's going to be, it said, for 3 generations, members of the Skywalker family, whether born into the name or chosen to carry the legacy, struggle to balance their own emotions in the external strife in the galaxy far, far away. So the author, Kristen Baver, is all, yeah, like I said, she's going to be the host of that High Republic show coming up next Wednesday. It launches.
The High Republic show I'm about. This book, I wasn't super. I don't know. I don't know if I really give a shit, to be honest with you. I'll have to see what it's about. I'm sorry, that's just me. You know, I love Star Wars more than anything, but
This might be blasphemy to Star Wars fans. And again, I'm a Star Wars fan in the sense that I am a Lord of the Rings fan, or whatever else fan. I enjoy it. It's entertaining and I watch it. I am not hardcore like a lot of the fans are. But with that being said, as I've said numerous times, you made an entire galaxy. Can we get away from one single family? I mean, I get it. It's the Skywalkers. They're the most important, but there's so many other people out there.
that's why
Go with
I'm
them.
not super excited. I agree, Bob. It's like I'm in the High Republic right now. You're giving me what I wanted, like a different story. So can we just take a break for a minute?
Well, it is also kind of a different kind of writing as well. If it's going to be written kind of like a biography,
yeah.
so not really telling stories. I guess. I mean, you got to always look at it this way too. There's got to be something for everyone, and I guess to look at it that way is why something like Star Wars does so well, and why I think it's in good hands with Disney.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, you guys want to talk about some comic books?
Always.
Oh, good, because there's a bunch here. Oh, what is that?
This? Oh, this is just these are Lord of the Rings coasters for your
Where
end
do- where do
table or your desk.
Where
This
can you
this
get
might
those?
wind up. I just found them. They might wind up in the winter giveaway box. I don't know if I want to. Maybe I'll hang on to these. I don't know, but that's there if anybody wants to like, share, and comment on 3 of our posts from now until March 1st. Enter for a chance to win. Must be 18 years older. Void were prohibited.
Amazing. You found those on your floor?
They were just, I don't know, just digging through the mud. I found them. It's crazy. Not even the pristine
wild
condition,
times
too.
there, man. I love it.
Amazing. Magical. So in the comics realm, we have some announcements. The Old Guard is returning. So the Old Guard was pretty successful. The Greg Rucka comic. It came out probably a little while ago, because I remember sorting through my comics and finding issue 1. I'm like, it's kind of funny how I just have this issue randomly, and the show took off, and I was very happy about that. So coming up is the Old Guard Tales Through Time. It's going to be an anthology featuring contributions from a host of fellow creators. So it's going to be 6 issues coming out in April, and you'll see Brian Michael Bendis, Kelly Sue DeConnick, David F. Walker, Rick Burchett, Valentine Delandro, Nicholas Scott, and many, many more. So that's a pretty heavy lineup right there.
Yeah, this sounds badass. Because you're going on for 7 centuries. Like, let's see them throughout history affecting different points in time, and I think it's a really cool idea. So I would definitely check that out. Ruben says magic. It is magical, Ruben. You're magical too.
So here's my thoughts. Disney, which we all know is blazing the forefront for content, they have now transitioned this Marvel monster from the big screen to 1,000 TV shows. And they basically did the same thing with Star Wars too. They got the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba coming, and so on. You kind of see Warner Brothers starting to do that with HBO. They're starting to do, they've released a couple TV shows or hinted that a couple TV shows are coming. How long until Netflix does the same thing? And if so, is the Old Guard going to be one of them? I mean, this is a nice little universe that they have here. This could definitely be a TV show.
Can I just say something about that? Because I have a question about where the Millarverse is, if that is the question.
I mean, yeah, you know our thoughts on that. He's referring to Mark Millar, and we haven't seen a movie, we haven't seen a TV show, we haven't seen a cartoon from that Millarverse, but Netflix has owned it since 2016. So 5 years. I know we're supposed to get our first movie, but that being said, yeah, I could see this. I could see it having a spin-off potential because, Charlize is not the only one, right? Like, I don't even think those ones are the only ones. I think there's
Right.
other people too who are immortals like that. So, yeah, just give me an anthology series, maybe a couple 2-3 episode arcs and tell the story of a tale and then keep it going.
Or
Yeah,
if not this, something.
Yeah, just take these new ones, and comics are storyboards anyhow. Pretty simple stuff.
Exactly.
So also from Image Comics coming this April, it was kind of weird because this is actually a horror anthology, and it's going to be called The Silver Coin. And so it's going to be Michael Walsh, who worked on Black Hammer Justice League, with the artist from that, with some of the biggest writers like Chip Zdarsky, Kelly Thompson, Ed Brisson, and Jeff Lemire. So a lot of people from that side of comic writing, the weird. So what do you think about this? I know that Casey, you're an anthology type guy. Bob, do you like anthologies?
Yeah, I do, and I mean, I'm not a huge horror fan. While I do appreciate the genre, and obviously, as a moviegoer, it's the center part of my podcast, and a lot of my guests pick horror movies. So, I'm not going to say that I'm going to sit here and read this one, but again, more content the better.
I'm excited. I'll read it. That lineup alone is worth it.
Exactly. Next up from Marvel, we have a new exploration in kind of in light of what if. If you're making a what if, I guess, TV show, are you still making what if comics? And why is this not called What If? So Spider-Man Spider Shadow is what if Peter Parker became Venom. I'm a big Venom fan for a very long time, more so than a Spider-Man fan. So I'd like to read this story. What do you guys think about this?
This one looks pretty cool. We got a Spider-Man as a bad guy in Superior Spider-Man a little bit when Dr. Ock took over. That's one of my favorite Spider-Man runs ever, the first part of it. So yeah, sure, why not? You know what I mean? Like, let's see what that's all about. And for me, I've actually been enjoying these Spider-Man one-offs more than the main stories. So I'll take them. I'll take these little Elseworlds tales all day.
Sure. I mean, I'm personally a huge fan of the Venom Spider-Man we got in Spider-Man 3. I think he had awesome dance moves. And I want to see him in a comic book.
Well said, Bob. I think that I'm glad you brought that up. And that's very important to remember those dance moves, because without those, we wouldn't even be here today. So this series is by Chip Zdarsky and with art by Pascal Ferry. Next up in Marvel news, Venom 200 is coming, and that will be the end of the very long run by Donny Cates. What year was that? 2016? Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman have been working on this for a very long time, and so this is the end of their run. It is Venom 200. I don't want to say what happens in the issue, because I do look ahead because of this website and other reasons. So it is a landmark issue, we'll put it that way, and get ready for it, because if you've been following since the beginning, this is it. So whatever happens after this, it'll be new stories from new creators on Venom.
I haven't even read one.
Nor have I, but what they've done with Venom over the last couple of years has been huge. I like that he's become kind of more of a forefront character. I love the Symbiote King and what he's done and is doing. So I guess, less Venom, in my opinion, right now isn't a good thing, but maybe they have a reason to be moving on.
Yeah, the minute that they put it, the whole idea that the planet symbiotes, and put it in Guardians of the Galaxy and really took it to the cosmic level, I think it changed the character for the better.
For sure.
And yeah, it just gave him so much more depth than just being, Venom, the lethal protector. So awesome. Let's jump over to DC. Again, coming in April because the solicitations just hit. We have some new Batman series, and Bob's a big Batman guy, so I wanted to make sure we did talk about The Dark Knight tonight. So there are 3 new series. I'll go through them real quick, and then we can kind of talk them up. We have the next Batman Second Son. It'll be a digital first series, and that's and John Ridley will be writing that with art by Nugent, and then it's on April 6th. Batman The Dark Knight miniseries on April 13th. And then the Robin Damian will be getting an ongoing series at the end of April.
Dang, that's a lot of Batverse. What do you think?
Love
Right.
all of it.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the Dark Knight looks pretty cool. I do like these miniseries. We do have Tom Taylor from Deceased and Suicide Squad, and since he's going to be writing Nightwing coming up, he's getting a much bigger role in the DC verse. And we've talked about this before on the show, where we really feel that he deserves it. So good for Tom Taylor.
Yeah,
for sure. I think the Second Son looks awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I think one of the big things the comic book companies don't do a whole lot of, and I wish they would, is give me my Batman, give me my Spider-Man, give me my normal comic book series. But I love the what ifs. I love the futures and the past and the different variations, especially if they're one-offs and they're not messing with continuity. Miniseries, I love that stuff. So DC playing into this whole, next Batman. They have a futuristic Wonder Woman, that whole futuristic universe going on. I love it. I like the Dark Knight movie. Obviously, the miniseries is probably going to be something I buy and hang on to. I think it's going to be awesome. As far as the Robin Damian thing, I think Damian's probably one of the best Robins we've gotten. I like him getting his own standalone thing. I would love to see him kind of make a transition like Dick Grayson did into his own character and not be the Robin mantle anymore. And I'm sure that's coming down the road. And I think if that happens, we need a female Robin next.
Yeah.
I believe he has recently stepped away from the role. And this might be a circle back, or they're doing something with this new Infinite universe. So I don't know how they're playing it. I'm not really caught up on Batman, but I know that Damian left due to certain Fallout reasons. So yeah, I agree. But let's also say this. We just mentioned how DC is very Batman crutch-like. So, but it sells, so this is the thing. It's just like more Batman books, but being a Batman fan, like, I'm gonna buy them.
Yeah, I think the difference there, though, is we're talking about comic books here. I mean, with the movies, if all DC's putting out, or movies and TV shows, if all DC's putting out is Batman content in those areas, then that's all I can consume. But when it comes to comic books, yeah, you can put as many Batman stuff as you want. I can always not buy those and buy a different character's book. So there's options there. And I think that's where it's a little less crutchy. Plus, again, I mean, Batman's my thing. So let me keep it going.
There you go. Last bit of news before we jump to commercial. The DC Universe app is no more. Long live DC Universe Infinite. So as of, I think, today, the app has transformed into a comic-only app. It is now new releases after 6 months versus a year before. And now Vertigo and Black Label series will be featured on the app as well. So I subscribe to it. I enjoy the app a lot. I do recommend it for anybody who wants to go back and read things that you won't find in print or trade or whatever you read your comics or funny books on. But I support it, and it's pretty awesome. So
it's good. More like you said, more ways available for people to read comics, and that's always a good thing. So especially if you can't get out of your house now, like even better reason to subscribe. Yeah,
funds are tight around, and it's like not everybody can spend a lot of money on comics either. So it's just, I'm glad that these are options for that. It's $7 a month. All right. Nice. So, So, Bob, anything you want to talk about before we go to commercial?
Nothing specifically. Just
Save by the bell
just
socks.
whatever. Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I need to get rid of this stuff, guys. You could just take it.
We'll try them. We're working on it as we speak. So at this point, we would jump to commercial if this was a recorded show, but we're still live. We're still here.
We can't get away.
No bathroom breaks. No nothing. Live.
I have a catheter. It's fine.
That is fun to know.
So let me. I'll open since
Yeah.
I'm a little familiar with this. So Mythic Legions from the Four Horsemen, my favorite sculpting company and longtime collector of their stuff. They've taken their Mythic Legions property and turned it into a tactics game. So they're currently doing a crowdfunding campaign for what's called Mythic Legions Tactics War of the Aetherblade. And they're looking for $100,000 as their funding goal. And right now they're at $38,482. It's a very short campaign, 11 days to go. So there's a few different options in there. Right now it's going to be only released for PC and then phones, Android and iPhone. So that is one thing. They do have some cool digital rewards, but also they did make some cool army packs, either a 2-pack of orcs or 2-pack of woodland elves that you can add to your Mythic Legions collection.
Yeah, it's cool that you can also get the extra like army builders along with it. I thought that was a really cool way to do it. I was curious why they didn't go to Kickstarter, but I think it's probably because they don't want to pay Kickstarter fees. But I think it would have made I know it's making money, but I think it would have made more money on Kickstarter.
Right. I mean, both of their Kickstarter campaigns for the action figures broke $1 million.
That's what I'm saying.
You know,
it's very weird how they're doing it. I don't know why.
I don't know. Maybe they're really trying to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Because
Might
imagine
be
what that.
yes.
I mean, how much they take off the top. So imagine what they're taking off $1 million. Wow.
That's $200,000 or $250,000. So I get it.
That's a lot of money.
It's more than they want, double what they want for this.
So Bob, just to fill in, Mythic Legions is a action figure line. It's like medieval fantasy, Lord of the Rings style stuff.
I'm not into any of that. I'm just kidding. No, it sounds amazing. I am gonna check it out as soon as we get off this call. And if my wife is listening, I may be a little late to bed.
I also may be short on cash for rent for my child's food.
How much more do they need to fund this? I can front them that money.
$62,000.
Oh no,
Please.
that's nothing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's no big deal.
Nope, no worries.
All right, we're gonna jump across the pond to television. And first thing first, Paramount's getting its own streaming service. So CBS All Access will become Paramount Plus. That's going to be dropping on March 4th. They'll be adding a little bit more movies. You got all the Star Trek stuff. To me, cool. Yeah. Oh, well, sorry. Let me say this. Cool, but actually the thing is that they are going to put some of their movies onto the streaming service. So that would be A Quiet Place 2, Top Gun Maverick, Mission Impossible 7, Snake Eyes. That is pretty significant.
Snake Eyes is a great movie. Here's my issue. Here's my issue with this. So Netflix starts the streaming thing. And within a couple years, we now have Disney Plus and Hulu and HBO Max and Paramount and Netflix and a gazillion other ones. And what's even worse is that now that these companies are developing their own ones, they're pulling their content from the other streaming services. So it's no longer like I can get these 3 or 2 and get a majority of the stuff. Now I'm only getting what that streaming service is creating, their content only. The issue I have with that is part of the reason why I went to streaming is because I didn't want to pay $80 a month for cable. And now I'm going to be stuck paying more than that to have 17 different streaming services just so I have options. So I'm hoping that all of these streaming services have the free 30-day trial, and I'm hoping that Google allows me to create 400 new email accounts.
Lauren said you're investing in her TV show ideas, so you got to save some of that funding money.
That's true. That's true. We had a lot of good ideas come out of her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's getting to a point where Apple, Paramount, CBS, I mean, it's just too much, and you really, really got to pick and choose where do you want to spend your money, because at this point, it's getting to be about $100 a month based off of all these different streaming services.
I will say this, with the taxes and all those hidden things that they throw in there for cable, don't forget that. I actually I was subscribing to a $10 streaming thing for local TV channels, but I was really paying $30. So it's just like, sometimes if you're going to give me original content, you're going to give me, stuff that I'm not going to see on TV, and along those lines, and you can convince me it's enough to spend that extra kind of money, then yeah, I mean, I'm in for it. I don't get this. Everything has to be a plus, though.
It's just their marketing gimmick of saying you're getting more.
You're getting more. Plus
everybody.
Money.
Plus. So I've already subscribed to CBS All Access, so I'm just waiting for this to transform.
Yeah, that works at least for you. John M. Chu is departing Willow. He was attached to be one of the directors for the Disney Plus series, and he's got to go. He's a good director. Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights, but I also think they'll find somebody with all the other talent involved on that show. They'll get another good, capable director.
Like Ron Howard.
I'm sure Ron Howard will direct at least an episode for sure.
Or Bryce Dallas Howard.
Any of the Howard family.
They should just do that show together right now. Let's just throw that at Disney, because that would be magic.
That would be awesome.
I agree. Also on Disney Plus, The Muppet Show is coming next month. There's going to be a new Muppet Show.
Yay!
Yeah, I can definitely. Yeah, I love the Muppets, so very excited about that.
Bring me back the Muppet Babies, please.
They did.
They did.
Exactly.
They were like CGI,
do it again,
and it wasn't that good.
Bring it back better, kind of like Thundercats Roar.
Yeah, bring it back in a good way. Yeah. And finally, in the best news ever, TV news, Saved by the Bell season 2 has been greenlit for Peacock. I paid my $5 to binge that first season, and it was well worth it. I would pay it again 2 times. So yes, Saved by the Bell, I'm a huge fan, just like Bob's is with his socks. I'm excited. And
I haven't watched the new one. Did you watch it, Casey?
yeah, I watched it in like 2 days.
How does it? I mean,
2 days.
you tell me the new Saved by the Bell series. I automatically think New Class with.
No.
So what is it? What, give me this. What is it?
It's a continuation of the original series. Zach is now the governor. There's some new kids, but then also like Jesse is a counselor, and Slater is like the gym teacher. But it's very funny. Like they make fun of themselves. They make fun of the old show. Like they're very aware of how stupid Saved by the Bell can be, and they play into it in a very smart and hilarious way.
2 questions.
It's
Number
great.
1, Does he use timeout at any point during the first season?
Zach doesn't, but it does happen.
Number 2, do they bring back Miss Bliss?
No, I don't think she's still alive, to be honest with you.
Well, then
I'm
tell you.
out.
I'm out.
All right, let's move over to movie news. Brendan Fraser, everyone's favorite robot in Doom Patrol, is going to be joining Darren Aronofsky's latest movie. You know, last known for Mother! Exclamation point. Anyway, you know, the movie is called The Whale. It is something that looks and sounds completely like Darren Aronofsky is making it, about a 600-pound man who is suicidal. So there you go.
I heard it's based on a true story. It's bonkers. And I am super excited that Brendan Fraser's in it because honestly, I think he's one of the most underrated actors. And I'm sorry that he had a brief falling out with Hollywood. And I hope that he's back in this because I think he's great. I think he's a great actor.
Have you watched Doom Patrol, Bob?
I have not. Again, one of the shows that is definitely on my list of things I need to consume because I've heard nothing but good things.
Do yourself a favor. That's getting
I may
outside
not-
the DC sandbox. Awesome stuff.
I may not go to bed tonight. I mean, I might just stay up and watch that and binge Mythic Dungeons.
I think that sounds just perfect. Just plain great. We also got our first looks at Mortal Kombat. And with that, we also have a synopsis of the new Mortal Kombat, which is produced by James Wan. You guessed it, a bunch of people have to fight each other in a mysterious place. Here's the thing. I am all in on this. Like, I love Mortal Kombat. I think it's one of the best video game movies of all time, if not the best video game movie of all time. Sorry, Sonic. And you know, this new one, if it wasn't for James Gunn being attached, maybe I'd be a little bit more scared or whatever, but now I'm in. I'm ready to go. Give me Mortal Kombat. Keep the soundtrack.
Because the first movie was so amazing.
Yes,
we needed a remake.
You're right. Yes.
I,
Thank you, Bob.
there is no plot to the video game Mortal Kombat.
Chelsea agrees. Yes, it is. Fighters fight.
How is there not a plot?
That's the fighting.
There is zero. What do you mean? How is there not a plot?
Raiden comes down and gets these fighters from across the world to go to this dimension to stop Shang Tsung from taking over
Our
the
dimension.
multiverse.
Do you
or
want
the...
our dimension to get destroyed, Bob? No, you have to fight
Right.
for it.
I can't.
Thank the
can't
gods for
with you
Liu
guys.
Kang. Seriously,
This is
if
out
it
of
wasn't for
control.
Liu Kang,
Here's what I am excited about. I am excited that this is going to be our rating, and I'm excited that they have literally come out and said there is going to be blood and gore galore, and that's the only way you can do a Mortal Kombat anything.
Yeah.
But with that being said, this is not a movie. This is I don't know what this is. I don't know.
Bob's clearly very excited about it.
I'm just ready for Jimmy Olsen to look that badass. Scott Brooks looks pretty awesome as Jax. So
There you go. And finally, in things that no one even wants to see, Willy Wonka is getting an origin movie from Warner Brothers. It sounds stupid. I don't care, and I don't know why it exists. Matter of opinion.
Here's my issue with this. Like so many other things, it'll work if you do it right.
Yeah.
But there's a really fine line there. I mean, Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory starts off with Wonka is a recluse. He's been locked away. Nobody's seen him for 2 decades or whatever. And then he has that slow walk out.
Bob? You need
But
to know
why?
why?
I need to know why. What
Hollywood
happened?
needs to tell us.
There's a story there, but you gotta play it. It's gotta be London, cobble streets and that type of feel that
He's
Charlie
the
and Chocolate Factory was.
original Jack the Ripper, I think.
Don't give me whatever the hell it was that came out before with Willy Wonka, because Tim Burton pissed all over that and Johnny Depp sat there and took it. It was gross.
I really like that movie. I'm
Of
like
cour-
one
of course you
3
did.
people.
The only
You
thing
mean
that
he
would have
took
been better.
ecstasy?
Oh yeah, Lauren's right. They had a backstory in that. Is his dad a dentist? If so, then no. She doesn't want to see it.
But if not, then you're in. As
Yes.
long as there's no talk of dentistry,
No.
you're in.
If Uncle Joe doesn't show up and they meet each other and that's what made him bedridden, it was Willy Wonka. Hey, right? They were old
Are you writing a
army
script right
buddies.
now? Let's do this. I'm greenlighting it. You
Ugh.
and Lauren's TV shows. I'm in.
All right, Chris, take us to a more wonderful place.
Excellent. Let's talk a little bit about video games. And with the announcement of Lucasfilm Games, it looks like we may be looking at an Indiana Jones game down the road here. With Bethesda, who just signed that exclusive contract with Xbox, we'll see if this will be one of the games that are more, widely released to other systems. But what do you guys think about a Bethesda? I would say probably, is it going to be open world Skyrim, or are we going to be, would you want to see an Uncharted type game?
You took the words right out of my mouth. Indiana Jones is one of my top favorite characters. Indiana Jones and Sherlock Holmes are my two greatest characters of all time. The problem is that we got an Indiana Jones game and it was called Uncharted and it was amazing. And I don't care about this. With that being said, I'll buy it and I'll play it.
If Lauren asked if there's going to be dinosaurs, I think you're referring to Indiana Jones, and if so, yes, he rides a dinosaur, and I'm all about it.
With lasers out of his eyes.
If it's like Uncharted, I mean, here's the thing. That's it. Nathan Drake is Indiana Jones just now. So, instead you're swapping regular people for Nazis. Fine. Take my money. I have a ton of Uncharted memorabilia in my house and collectibles, so of course I'd swap it for Indiana Jones all day.
What about old Indiana Jones punching new Nazis in the face?
No.
Only if Shia LaBeouf's in it.
Oh, she says like a pre-Jurassic World. Catch my drift. I see where you're going with this. No, we're not.
I need me some Mutt, some Shia LaBeouf meeting Sean Connery in like a grandfather-grandson team up.
Okay, can we move on from this?
Wait, so Shia LaBeouf plays his own son?
Shia LaBeouf plays Indiana Jones's son, who goes by the nickname Mutt.
Yes.
Get it? Because Indy was named after the dog.
The dog, right?
As if they couldn't throw that right in your face.
I think what Bob's asking for is a Gotham Knight style game. You can take over as 3 different characters of Indiana Jones generations, and each of them with significant power sets.
And dinosaurs.
Well, so Indiana Jones coming from Bethesda. Next up in the world of Nintendo, the Switch is getting a Mario makeover. So you're going to be getting a Mario Red and Blue Edition system, celebrating, of course, 35 years of Mario, which has been going on for a while now with the release of the new game. Well, not the new games, but the new game is coming soon. The old games, and then also that kind of that fun multiplayer one that was similar to Tetris on the Switch. So a lot of cool Mario stuff that's been coming out this year.
Hey, Griffin.
It's funny because as they went to like the portable system, now they're trying to get rid of these systems by making them look different. So I'm pretty sure we're getting close to a Switch Pro here or there.
I love that Xbox and PlayStation have been going back and forth for 10 plus years. on better graphics and better games and real immerse technology. And Nintendo's just out there like, yeah, we're gonna do our own thing. Graphics aren't that important. We'll just do our own thing.
And they're 100,000% correct, because
Mhm.
the Switch has outsold, so many things, and it's about the content, and it always is. And you can talk about how great different graphics are, but like, I'm not going to hold up Animal Crossing to Miles Morales, but Animal Crossing people are playing nonstop every day, all day. So it's about the content. Nintendo
People will
has it.
consume anything you put out. Anything. And I'm sure there are some true diehard Nintendo fans out there. I have a Super Nintendo still. I still play it. I think it's amazing. And I'm not trying to sit here and say that Nintendo isn't doing something, but you cannot honestly tell me that if given the option of playing the Switch or playing a PS5 or an Xbox One, you're picking the Switch. That's not happening.
It depends on
Maybe
the
one out of
game.
sure, but if I give you if I give you a Christmas gift as a parent, or if you have a wish list, you're not putting that system on there because you know that there are games out for the other two systems that are just amazing. I mean, the graphics in the other two systems are amazing now, and it's only getting better. It's unbelievable. And Nintendo, while still a great system, I'm not putting my money into that. Sure, if I can get one at a discount rack, or if somebody hands me a Switch and is like, "Here, you can have this," then sure, I'll take it all day and I'll play it.
I'll
Let me pose it like this, because this is the way I look at it. When you between like PS and Xbox, you choose one or the other. You don't have both. Some people have both. Whatever, that's fine. But they're the same thing. Nintendo for me is a completely different peripheral. It's a different kind of gaming experience where I can take it on the go. And these other companies have been trying to kind of tap into that, but you can't without an internet connection and so forth. So the Switch is, I plug into my TV, I can play those games. I can take it, sit on the couch, and I can take it to go. And that's the thing that ever since the Wii, Nintendo has, when they saved themselves from bankruptcy, they redefined how to really release systems. And I think that's the best way to look at it. They do something different, and redefine what video gaming is, while these other two are pushing the graphics and the hardware and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, the Switch or a Nintendo product is something that we've had for our entire lives, and something that is probably very familiar to us and is easily loved. So I feel, in my opinion, there is a huge difference between the two different systems.
I think it's where you are at your life. Like, and honestly, for me, I think Nintendo and I think their products is about family. Because when I got my Wii, it was when I was going to visit my sister, and it was her gift, and all of us played that Wii boxing game. And then, when they came over a couple years ago, I had my Switch. We all played Mario Kart. So, like, I played my PlayStation. It's my PlayStation. Occasionally, guys will play with me and we'll play a game online. But to be quite honest with you, Nintendo, to me, is about that family connection. And those are the games that bring families together.
So here's what I'll say about that. To Chris's point, I think you're right. I think Nintendo is focused on some sort of portable thing with the Switch and everything. Here's why that doesn't matter. Because I can get games portable right now as it is. I don't need to buy another system. And I think the issue, like what Casey said, 100% right. Nintendo is definitely the family console. It was with the Wii. I don't think it is with the Switch. When the Wii came out and it was motion and it was the only system that had the motion, absolutely. I went over to countless family members' houses and did the boxing, did the bowling, did the frisbee. And then PlayStation came out with theirs and everybody bought it. Xbox came out with theirs. It didn't even need a remote. And they had this three-way battle. That's where Nintendo was relevant, when they were coming out with the new technology that the other systems didn't have. But they've backed off of that now, and I think they're losing the battle, in my opinion.
It's still motion. The Switch has motion controls. Here's the thing, because Lauren just brought up something with local multiplayer. She says it's more of a family experience as well as local multiplayer, and this could be its own episode, really. So I'll say this: my nephews bought a Switch. My nephews bought a Switch, and I go over there and I bring it with me, and we do that. And like we just played Sonic and Mario at the Olympics, and so for me, the Switch is a better Wii, hands down.
I agree with that. Yeah, Griffin says Super Contra and Bionic Commando all day, 100%.
And one last thing, I'm sorry, Bob. I don't like phone games. There are some good ones out there, but they can't hold a candle to a lot of these ones that are indies made for Switch and also even Xbox.
I agree. And the constant ads in the phone games are ridiculous. And I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I just think in general, if you're looking to have a mobile gaming experience, people are going to grab their phone first because they already have it. And I can download a game for $1 or $2. I'm not going to go out and spend a couple $100 on a new system just to have that experience.
Correct. Especially when Nintendo won't put their games down under $60 most of the time.
Never. Yeah.
It's crazy. Last thing today in video game news, Resident Evil Showcase happened today. I have not watched it yet, so I'm not really familiar with exactly what went on with Village. I do have some highlights about it. So Village is coming out on May 7th. You can pre-order it now. If you get the PS4 version, you get the free upgrade to PS5. And then also there's a standalone demo out called the Madam or something like that. So a lot of cool stuff coming out of that game today. I'm pretty excited because it looks like a weird werewolf game.
I don't think there's anybody listening right now that cares about Resident Evil. I mean, right? We don't know anybody that's a huge Resident Evil fan that would be interested in this information, I don't think.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for her to chime in. I'm excited for this. I like that it's more traditional monsters. I'm always a fan of the zombies and other weird ass like amalgamations of monsters that they throw into these games. Yeah, Lauren goes, not at all. But seeing a werewolf, seeing that lady who could possibly be a vampire, you know what I mean? Like, what else are they gonna do in that world? It makes me feel like a real House of the Dead vibe, and I'm there for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Resident Evil has definitely executed on the horror games, and they continue to. They're great games to play, and yeah, I'm excited about this for sure.
Chelsea says she's excited for Resident Evil on Netflix. So am I for sure. And Alex said, "Hey, hi." All right, Chris, what time is it, man?
It is the time to pursue some plastic. So usually we have a cool theme song going on right now, and we kind of lead into that. So it goes like dun 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 dun, right? Exactly. So let's get right into it. Bob, what is your collectible level in life? Like, how are you into collectibles? Like all those cool collectibles that keep appearing on your desk. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, so that was the first thing I set up in my new office. I'm a huge collectibles fan. I don't always have the dollars for it, but I mean, there's always something within arm's reach that I like to collect. I think, man, McFarlane does a great job with collectibles. I'm a huge fan of theirs. The Funko Pop, I held out as long as I could, but they're such a great price point, and they're really cool to have. My son actually asked me today when we were setting up my office here. He said, "Dad, do you ever play with these, or do you just look at them all day?" And I was like, "Both, son, both." So yeah, I mean, I like them. I think the difficult part is, as somebody who enjoys them, it's hard to find them in the right amount of like the right price range. I want something of value that's really cool, but I can't afford to go out and spend $200-300 on a new collectible every month. Once in a while, yeah, but not every month.
Well, I've got one for you. No, I'm just joking. This one is not for any of us. But the first one up today I want to discuss is the Grim Knight from the Dark Knight's Metal. So the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo run, they brought in these alternate Batmen from the multiverse. And so this was basically a Punisher version one, where he was just like on an ultimate revenge path after his parents were murdered. So this baby goes for $1,300. But I just, I wanted just to kind of share this it's from Prime One Studio, and I always kind of like the design of this character, being a Punisher fan.
It looks badass, and I'll get the much smaller, way cheaper version from McFarlane.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that. It's back ordered.
Alex
But
said he loved dragons. Just catch up on comments here. I think he was talking about Bob loves dragons.
Yeah, I'm a huge dragon fan. I like
and
dragons.
Chelsea says I need Funko Pop book characters. They don't do a lot of book characters. That is
It's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, like Willy Wonka. Maybe not Willy Wonka. Sorry, go on, Chris.
No, it's fine.
That was a good comment, yeah.
You guys both mentioned Todd McFarlane, and so let's talk a little bit about his DC Multiverse line, which has been stellar. He actually said there's some big stuff coming for 21, 22, so look forward to that. But then we got this great announcement of Batman Beyond Wave. So that's on its way, coming later this year. Few are just releasing. It looks like release dates throughout the year. Who knows? But this one kind of is neat because it's looking at like the future, not future, future's end side of things, and also the comic book Batman Beyond. So you'll be getting another Batman Beyond figure with this. He actually has like the no mouth. The other one has like the mouth imprint. So it's separate figures. One comes with a Build-A-Figure, which will be the Future's End Batman with an alternate face.
Yeah, I've actually been rewatching Batman Beyond, so I saw this announcement and I was pretty excited about it. Griffin says I have McFarlane. $20 is much better than 1,300. 1,000% correct, man.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
I mean,
quality-
exactly what you're going to say. McFarlane is a toy collector, and he makes the toys with a great quality, tons of points of articulation, and they're at a good price point. I mean, I bought the entire Dark Knight series, and if you haven't watched it, it's on YouTube. My exploration of that, but I bought that entire series. I want to say for maybe 110, and that's 5 separate figures. I mean, that's a good price point per figure. That's got to be $25 or so, or $20-25 per figure. But not just that, he's constantly coming out with new stuff. I just actually watched the video before we hopped on here where he announced the characters for this build that you're talking about. It's going to be 4 separate characters coming out periodically over the next year, each one containing a part of a 5th figure. And one of them I want to say was like, I can't remember the character's name, but it's from Batman the Animated Series. It's the last one that's going to be coming out. It's like a grim light green character. It's awesome. But yeah, he picks some of the greatest characters that we haven't seen in plastic yet, and he releases them, and they're great. I love McFarlane tones. Can't say enough of good things about him.
It's a good point, Bob. Because it seemed always like Mattel with their master license was playing catch up, and then it was DC Universe Classics, which I loved because it was 4 Horsemen, and they went back and they did like the classic versions of the characters. So this, however, I love because if you're a current comic reader, he's hitting those high notes with with like Flashpoint Batman, not so new, but like the Dark Knight's Metal stuff, the Last Night on Earth, all this crazy stuff that you would not see from any other toy manufacturer.
All about it.
That's it. Next up, Super 7 continues their Conan the Barbarian movie figure wave series with Wave 3. 2 more figures on the way. Another Conan with all his war paint. And then also Thulsa. So both of those will be available. Of course, we'll have their big pre-order window through February 19th. And I love Super 7 and their made to order figures. I think some people like it, some people don't, but I feel that's kind of the way to do it these days if you're not putting it in stores.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Super 7. I'll have to check them out. Conan has never been a big character for me. Never was really a huge fan. But I mean, for those of you who are, if that's the figure you want to go after, by all means. I mean, I'm glad you're getting your content.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I mean, I love Conan, but I have no desire to get these. I would rather do the Mezco version of these characters or something like that. Yeah.
Or that
Griffin
statue.
Says, yeah, statue like that. Griffin says DC has a lot to say in what Todd is putting out.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, he does a lot of Batman oriented stuff, but if you dive into his collection, he's also got some Rick and Morty stuff. He's got some Dune stuff that's coming out. So maybe it's not DC specifically, but Warner Bros. As a whole. But at the end of the day, if you're getting a good figure for your price, no issues with that.
100%.
Absolutely. Next up, Lego Ideas revealed their latest set, Medieval Blacksmith. It's going to be $149 for 2,164 pieces. It releases on February 1st. Growing up, I was a huge Lego medieval person. I had all the castles and stuff. And I wish I still had them because those are the OG sets like that.
Yeah, I never got into Legos. I have a good friend of mine who's super into Legos. My kids are getting really into Legos. So I mean, I'll definitely probably be investing more into them as my kids get older. One thing I was really into that I wish they'd bring back. Do you remember those 3D puzzles where you could it was like layered?
Yeah.
And at the end you'd have this like structure. They should bring those back. Those are pretty cool.
I bet you they have them somewhere out there, since they make almost everything now. Probably just got to find it. But yeah, Chris, like you, I was a big Lego Medieval fan. I had a lot. So when this popped up on the cast today, I was like, oh, okay. Do I need that fire-breathing dragon to come back?
Oh, if they got dragons, I'm sold. I'm in.
They might do it.
They used to have dragons. I distinctly remember the old dragon minifigure. So that's it. Next up, Quantum Mechanics. This is a company you should check out, Bob. They make Q-Figs, which are kind of cool, like stylized versions of characters from DC to Marvel to Harry Potter and more. And so they're a little cartoony. I was a pop guy before. And then I moved away from pops to these. I don't get them too often, but I do like what they do. And they do some kind of strange ones. So the latest two that I wanted to kind of talk about was Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China and also Darkwing Duck. So both of those are coming. And Bob, have you ever seen those figures before?
I have not. I might have an idea of what you're talking about. I've seen. Okay, all right, yeah, those look cool. Are they big in Target? I think I've seen them a lot in Target.
They are getting more in Target and stuff. It used to be hard to find them, but now they're getting out a lot more. Yeah, they're pretty. I like them, like just like Chris said. I like them more than Funkos because I don't really like the bobblehead all the time, but sometimes they make figures that I can't pass up. Whereas these guys are making some pretty cool. I like the bases and stuff like that.
Are they the same price point as Funkos?
A little more expensive.
No, they're
$20.
They're $20 to $30 depending. They also do higher range ones where they're like statues. Yeah. They have a Batman family one where it's Batman is like a 12-inch statue, but then they do all his Robins and Batgirl as the little ones.
Yeah.
You seen that? I love that statue,
yeah,
but that's the higher price point. Yeah, it's $150.
They're about $20 for the Q-Figs.
I'll definitely have to check them out. Darkwing Duck is one of my favorite childhood cartoons. So I'll definitely have to check that out. My list of things to look up after the show is growing.
It's dangerous to come on. Subscribe to the podcast. Check us out on live feeds, and we're here to help you. Not your wallet though.
Nope. So next up, speaking of Quantum Mechanics, who used to have the Star Trek license. They were doing some pretty cool 1/6 scale figures. Casey and I saw them when we went to Toy Fair a while back and talked to that company. But Exo 6 will be doing the line, and their first one is going to be a Data figure. So this is pretty exciting. I don't collect Star Trek stuff, but I know plenty of people out there that love it, and it's always been kind of a question. The license like jumps around, and it hasn't really found a solid home, which is kind of surprising with the growth of it on CBS All Access.
Yeah.
Star Trek is an untapped franchise. I think they have not. Star Trek could be as big as Star Wars in the sense of movies and TV shows, but they just can't get their feet underneath them. With that being said, is there a Star Trek item in the giveaway this month? I don't know. Probably. But yeah, I mean, cool. I like Star Trek. Chris, I know you're a huge Star Wars fan. Is there like an internal battle between Star Trek and Star Wars, or are you guys cool now, like the Bloods and Crips?
I was thinking of that Darth Vader line. What is it? There is no... Never mind. No, I love Star Trek. It's actually the reason why I subscribe to CBS All Access to support that. And I would suggest anybody out there that likes Star Trek who hasn't watched the TV shows like Discovery or Picard to check it, because Star Trek is, in my opinion, is pretty awesome. And it like I think we said this the other day. It was like, I don't understand like the battle, because they're two totally different things.
Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
So Exo 6, look forward to that if you're a 1/6 scale collector. Speaking of 1/6 scale figures in Star Wars, I said I wasn't going to buy any more Hot Toys this year. And it's just
January.
beginning. Right? It's just beginning. New Year's resolutions have failed. So they with the Mandalorian
reasons, I'm sure this year.
Yes.
That Teen Wolf that I've been waiting for my whole life.
It's coming. So I was a huge Dark Forces fan back in the day. It was probably one of the, besides Rebels, I don't even remember what that game was. It was it was before that. It was like almost like a point and click. It's Rebel Assault. It was like a CD-ROM game that I had the old Apple computer. But I used to play Dark Forces as well, and the Dark Troopers have been something that I loved the concept of. And when the EU got removed, it was kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? But Filoni and Fav brought back the character, quote unquote character, the concept of Dark Trooper, and they appeared in this season of The Mandalorian, and they were pretty awesome. And then Luke Skywalker destroyed them all.
Spoiler alert.
It's been long enough. And if you haven't seen the memes, I don't know where you've been living. Probably on Dagobah. So, right, exactly. You're still going. He's still getting there. No, he got there. That's right. But the Dark Trooper is now up for pre-order on Sideshow if you're into expensive collectibles.
The Dark Troopers were cool in the show. I mean, as somebody who didn't really know the backstory behind them, they were kind of revealed as these badass, awesome things, and then within 30 minutes they were gone. So, but they look like they could be really cool and badass, and yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm really fighting buying them because of the potential with the Mando that I have coming in and the Luke that I have. We'll see. I just have a couple comments to catch up on. Alex said, "I'm that friend. He loves Legos all day." And Griffin says, "Migo has a Teen Wolf coming." I was actually going to add that. I totally forgot about it. They did reveal that online, and as soon as I'm buying it, I'm getting two. One to hang out with.
Hang from a basketball hoop?
Oh yeah, I'll be up there. Whoa, what is that, Bob? What the collect?
Oh, this is a Black Widow standee. It's pretty cool. I like it, but I think I might part with it as part of the winter giveaway. So Don't forget to like, comment, and share 3 of our social media posts. That's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram enter for a chance to win. Must be 18 years or older. Void where prohibited.
Gutsy Media Podcast, guys. Yeah, I want to thank Bob for being on the show today. And as he's mentioned multiple times throughout the episode, please check out his podcast, like, subscribe, enter the contest. Chris, where can you find us in this galaxy?
Well, we are on a little website called don'tforgetatowel.com. You can find it on your local interwebs. Also on the socials, hit us up on the Twitters, Facebooks, and Instagrams. All of them, we're there. So we have an awesome podcast network, a few different shows. And Bob was just on one of them. It's called Star Warriors. So if you like Star Wars and roundtable discussions with a bunch of geeks, check it out. And also those geeks, that is Casey, Bob, Lauren, and Dave, right?
Dave. Yep.
That's it. So a lot of cool stuff on our podcast network. Check it out. And while you're at DFAT, check out DFAT Comics for real.
For sure.
Realsies. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, good episode, guys. Thanks everyone tonight who came by and gave some comments, interacted with us. Super appreciate that. And so Bob, do you want to say a parting word?
Gutsy Media Podcast. Check it out, guys. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. Anytime you guys want to geek out, by all means, let me know. This is my daily life, so I appreciate it.
And this is Casey saying, go read some comics.
And this is Chris saying, don't forget a towel.